the shame of poverty, for example, people will talk about the moral failure of being the alleged moral failure of being poor on a personal level. What about the collective moral failure of not having a safety net?
Mm,
You know, so much of people's stress, even to the point of becoming suicidal or being suicidal, is connected to not having food, not having shelter, living in a society that stigmatizes asking for help. And so it's like sometimes I feel like if I don't write about these things, and I don't want to come across as like a savior mentality, but if I don't write about these things, people may truly feel like they're the only ones going through it. And that could lead them down a road where it's just the end for them. And I've seen that, unfortunately, quite a bit where people really were convinced that they were the only ones going through a situation that they didn't have necessarily enough exposure to know, like, actually, this is a systemic problem. This is a structural problem. I just don't have the language for this to know, or like the data to back it up, or, the poll, the survey that like says that, 56% of queer Black youth are blah, 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 blah. But it's not just them. It's not just you. It's not just me. Um, and so I think that is what pushed me past that point of like, oh, like I just want to be like sort of in my own bubble to myself and like, live a life that's more private and, away from scrutiny. It's like, no, the scrutiny that I may feel when putting myself out in the world is nothing compared to the hardship that people feel when they're moving through a world that is erasing their existence, that is silencing them, that is turning away very callously when they have nothing to fall back on and no one to lean on. These things that are a part of life are so unpredictable. And I think people are so convinced that it won't be them until it is. And we're better off prepared by realizing that it can always be us.
always be us.
Can
Yeah.
always be us.
Yes. All right. Thank you so much for
Yeah.
accepting my invite. Thank you for the amazing work you do and for existing the way you do in this world. I always say, the stories we tell can be a window or a mirror. And I know
Mhm.
that the stories you tell are oftentimes are mirrors for folks who can see themselves and a window of understanding for those who really want to understand, empathize, and be allies.